Hello, hello, hello. It's that day. It's that time. Welcome, welcome. Hi, Kathleen. How are you this evening? What are you working on? What are you up to? Wait a few minutes for people to the stroll in. It just YouTube just announced I was live, so that always takes a few minutes. So I shall sit here and wait for people to show up. Is my volume working? You hear me? Sounds like, oh wow, it just went. Good grief. YouTube's really slow tonight. Hi, VJ. Okay, cool. Because StreamYard was telling me I was having problems with my audio earlier, and I'm like, last week it was my visual because I was blurry. Now I pretty much fixed that, and now you tell me I'm having problems with my audio. Ugh. But hopefully you can see me and hear me this week, which should be great. So VJ, what have you been working on? I arrived late to your live today, so I didn't know what your whips were. So fill me in. What are you working on right now? Wait a few more minutes for see if a couple more people show up. Because as usual, my view count is telling me one thing, and the YouTube is showing me another, and I'm seeing two people in the chat room that are actually chatting in the chat room right now. So I don't know how many people are in here. So if you're lurking or something, just at least say hi so that I know you're here. That'd be great. If not, feel free to keep lurking. That's fine. I lurk most of the time too. Yeah, you're asking me if there was an app that would read an ebook to me on an iPhone. Um, I don't know. Hey Siri, open Kindle and read to me. You'll need to unlock your iPhone first. Really? Oh, hang on. I can't reach my phone. My phone's on the charger. But apparently, according to Siri, it will do it. I'll have to research a little bit more and then I'll get back to you for sure. So you finished a facial poof. Cool. Do you use all cotton for yours? And which cotton do you prefer for your facial poofs? And how do you keep them from exploding into these gigantic things that I seem to be keep making? Curious minds want to know. Okay, this is taking. Hi, Connie. Welcome, welcome. Um, Let us know what you're working on. If you have any news, and if you're sipping on something tasty, go ahead and feel free to share that too. What was the last part of the question? I was asking you. Well, which question, VJ? I asked Siri um, if it could open up my Kindle and read to me, and she said, "Sure, but you have to unlock your phone." Unfortunately, my phone is on a charger that I can't reach from here, so I'm gonna have to try to experiment later. And my iPad's upstairs, so. But if I figure it out, I'll definitely. Whose Tips Tuesday would this go to? Or are we all just doing Tip Tuesdays now? Fill me in. I missed that part too. I normally use sugar and cream because that's what I grew up with. This set is just cotton because that's what I have. I'm shopping my stash. Gotcha. Who is Just Cotton? Which store is that? I feel like I should know, and I'm not placing who it would be. Connie, are you a crocheter, a knitter, a crafter? What brings you here tonight? That's it. Okay. Just yarn, just cotton. All right, got it. I know I should know this. Why am I drawing a blank as to what this is? Premiere. Okay. Is it a nice cotton? I mean, I like their just yarn. The acrylic is really soft and it's got like a nice spongy texture to it. But I've never seen their cotton. Okay, so I have no idea how many people are in here. I've got counters that are all saying. I have one counter that's telling me zero, another one that's not showing me anything. So I'm gonna go ahead and just get started on the night, and we'll see what happens. Who shows up? Um, I don't have any finished objects or whips to show you this week because I haven't finished anything, and the whips I have are both laid out on the dining room table upstairs. And for me to bring them down here to show them to you would run the risk of me losing my place as to where I'm putting them together. So I can't show them to you. I did show off my cardigan in VJ's live earlier today because I was sitting at the dining room table and it was sitting next to me. So it was easy. Um, so I don't have any whips and I don't have any finished objects today. I do have, I won't say it's my brand new favorite stitch, but it's a stitch that I'm really, really, really enjoying. Hang on. VJ is saying, I made a Tip Tuesday for Android. Someone asked about iPad, which I don't know anything about. If you wouldn't mind making a Tip Tuesday for iPad and iPhone on your channel, you can get the watch hours. Hmm. No, it's not. I might have to do that. Yeah, I could do the iPhone iPad side. And it's just a regular. You just did a regular video, not a short, just a video. No, I know you did a video. I saw it. Now that I think about it, I saw it come up. Cool. I will consider that. Oh, yeah. I have a new stitch that I really, really like, and this is what Eastern Europeans again for the win because I got this stitch off of the channel White Thread Crochet, and she's got all kinds of awesome stitch tutorials. And like I said, Eastern European they come up with some of the coolest stitches and patterns. So here's one example of it. It's literally just you have one setup row. Well, okay, well you have the foundation row, one setup row, and then it's just a one row repeat from that point on. So this is it in this. I'm not quite sure what this yarn is. It's very stretchy, but it's also got cotton in it. It's a very interesting yarn. I don't know. I also have a swatch in what is VJ's favorite yarn, True Blue Sparkle. It looks a lot lacier with this yarn. I like it better with this yarn for sure. Yeah, just make a nice shawl or a table runner, or I don't know. You can pick lots of things to you know pair that stitch with. And then this one is just made in good old fashioned. Well, it's bamboo and cotton. Oh man, that's not washing out. There it is. This is my favorite swatch of all of them because it shows the pattern the best. I think because it would help if my computer wasn't washing it out. Yeah, if you can see a little bit that way. But it's literally just a one row pattern repeat after the foundation chain and the setup row. So yeah, I figured you'd appreciate my comment about that being your favorite yarn because I know how much you love True Blue Sparkle. So there's my new stitch for the week. It will be added to my book. I did tell you guys I was making a basically a book of different sample stitches, right? Just for my own information, but just because I like being able to have swatches of stitches that I'm making so that I can take swatches and put them together and see how they work with each other. So I'm working on that. So anyway, that stitch is going into the book. That stitch made the book. The stitch from last week did not make the book. Okay, what else do I want to talk about? Oh, again, VJ, you had wanted to see the hooks. Remember I told you I had found some hooks on Team that I loved? These would be the hooks. Oh, I am just washing out all over the place. Yes, these are the hooks. I think I paid like I don't know some small ridiculous amount for these, but they're really nice hooks. I'm gonna take out the biggest one. It's probably one I can get the camera to focus on the best. But they range in size from 2.5 millimeter up to the 6 millimeter, and this entire handle is rubberized. The head is plastic. Admittedly, I did get a little bit of squeak at first, but when I did like the little hair trick, great, now I got in my hair, it stopped it. And I've used these quite a bit, and the number hasn't worn off yet. And you know how sometimes with a rubberized grip handle, it'll either it'll show dirt or it'll start getting sticky. That hasn't happened with these. So I'm very happy with these hooks. And like I said, I paid like pennies for them on Temu. And I know. Team is getting a bad rap about being like, a nefarious site. But if you happen to still use it, look for those hooks if you're interested. Anyway, that's all that reason why I brought it up. Is it an inline hook? Let me look real quick. I use both tapered and inline, so I don't pay a whole lot of attention. But I'd say that's more Bates than Boyle. The boy. So I was getting confused. Inline is Susan Bates, right? I always get inline and tapered confused. So there's those hooks. Let's see what else I will talk about today. I showed you guys my favorite stitch. Or my stitch of the week, I guess I should say. No finished objects, no whips. Oh, yes, thank you. Yes, Bates is in line. Boy, I have to work too hard to use now. I use both, but I guess if I thought about it hard enough, I'd probably lean towards Susan Bates because I like how you can like kind of poke her the even more than the fact that that the neck is has that hook. I like the tip of the hook because it's a little easier to poke through things because it has that little point on it. So I probably do lean towards Bates, but I can use both. Let's see. So I was looking at crochet hacks on TikTok, and I came across one that I had used before and had forgotten about, but now I'm going to start using again. It's the one where you take instead of having to hold three different strands of yarn together, you can take one skein and double it in a way so that it works like you're holding three strands together. So basically, and I don't know if you'll be able to see this or not, but I'm going to try so that you can see it. Uh, you're going to use the hook for the size yarn that you're trying to get to, and you're just going to make your slip stitch like you normally put the yarn on your needle or your hook. Then you're going to chain one, and you're going to pull that out really, 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 really long, as such. And then you're going to put your hook back on to the slip stitch that you made when you originally put the yarn on the hook. And you're going to hold all of these together. And you just crochet like you normally would. This is hard for me to look at this and look at the camera at the same time. It's really hard to do it and look at the camera at the same time. Okay. And then when you get to the point where the loop is getting short, you grab this yarn, which is the yarn that you're crocheting with, and pull it through this loop. Make it long. and just keep crocheting. I swear it's easier when I'm not trying to do this with a camera. It's much easier when I'm not trying to do this through a camera. And you just keep going until you encounter the loop again. And there's the loop. And then you'll just do like you did earlier. Open the loop, grab the yarn that you're crocheting with, pull it through, drag it out. And there you go. You got more bulky. Here is a swatch of where I turned what is a. I really should rethought using white yarn for this. What was a two weight yarn has been turned into, I want to say, like an Aran weight or a lighter bulky. So that's just a really good way to double up your yarn and not have to like have 15 different skeins rolling around on your desk. Who's come in? Oh, hi, Catherine. You were ordering yarn. Where were you ordering yarn from? Hi, Rosemary. Long time no see. How have you been? Fill us in. What's new? But yeah, that little tip, which I might actually turn around, I might put that in a short to show you a little clearer. But it just makes doing it and making a bulky yarn so much easier instead of having to like have three different skeins that you're holding together. So I haven't tried it with a variegated yarn. I'm very curious to see how if you did a variegated yarn, how it would change the pattern. So I'm gonna have to try that. That might be a short too. This is nice hat Kim. I've only used both ends of the skein to make it doubled. See, that drives me crazy because whenever I try to do it from both ends, I somehow it ends up a tangled mess, and most of my skein becomes yarn barf, and then I get mad. But doing it this way, it's literally if you're just pulling it like you would normally, such as you're pulling it through the loop. Catherine ordered from Little Knits some pretty yarn, some Cascade, Brown Sheep, and Rowan yarns. Is anybody else uh here? Have you heard of Black Sheep? Is it Black Sheep Yarns? I want to say Black Sheep Yarn. They have got right now an Edgar Allan Poe set that is stunning. Um, I know VJ is going to want to go on a field trip to see if I can find it. Um, I will look to see if I can't find it real quick. It would require me to go to my Facebook, and Facebook is not cooperating. Come on, load already. sheep. There's both. I'm pretty sure it's black sheep. Sorry, I'm trying to get to where I'm trying to go. Sorry. Is this one before? No. Uh, I'm scrolling. I had it pulled up on my tablet, but obviously my tablet's upstairs, so that's not going to be much good here. And I can't find it. Ugh. Anyway, there were some really stunning colors. They're dyed on merino wool, and the prices were pretty good for what you would be getting. I wish I could find the picture, but I can't find it. So, and I will obsess over it and drive you people crazy. So I'll just never mind. Let's see. Rosemary is saying she's doing well. She's making the mama shark with the babies that go inside. Just finished a doll with a cleft palate. Funny that you mentioned the mama shark with the babies that go inside. I'm I was working on a turtle that had baby turtles that go inside of it. That's a memory game. So I've been working on those. Oh, I'm mad that I can't find that photo. Oh, let me try this. Let me try that. There they are. Okay, hang on. I found them. I'm going to share here in a second. Okay, here we go. Free pattern on her. I signed up for this already. But that's the Edgar Allan Poe set. And I am in love with those colors. And they have them from fingering, sparkles fingering, which I believe this is what we're looking at right here. There's all the sparkles in it. There's sport, there's DK, there's worsted, and there's bulky. And it's a 3 skein collection, so you get one of each of these. And the colorways are Nevermore, William Wilson, and Ulalume. Or Lume? Ulalume, I think is what it is. I forget. As I said, it's superwash merino and nylon. And obviously you get a different amount for each depending on the weight. Like for the what I believe I'm looking at is the sparkle fingering. It's 462 yards, 100 grams. And I believe this is going for, there it is. It's 84 to $96 for the bundle, which personally is amazing. for hand dyed superwash merino. So I would probably be over here with the worsted. That's a very nice looking yarn in a 4 weight. So it has a lot of definition in it. The colors are great. Is it in bulky? It's even nice and bulky. Let's see. It looks like a DK. No, it's very pretty in DK. And then we're back to the sparkle fingering, and then the regular fingering. I really wish I had liked working with fingering weight because that yarn is gorgeous in fingering weight. I just do not have the patience to work with yarn that thin. I'm gonna be right here. I'd be somewhere between DK and worsted because that's a pretty nice size DK, and that's about a typical worsted. So what'd you think of that? Oh wow, okay. Bunch of you guys came in while I was away showing off stuff. Hi Kelly. Hi Kathleen. Welcome back. Hi Mob's Place. Um, I just took everybody on a field trip to show them the this yarn that I've been drooling over because it keeps advertising on my Facebook feed, and it's absolutely their yarn is stunning. So they have a lot of other colors too. So, um, but yeah, it's black sheep yarn. If you want to go look them up and see what they have, but they have a lot of beautiful colors. So everybody that just came in, how you been? What are you working on? What's new? Let us know what you got going on. No, Kathleen, you did not miss the rant. I went over some. I went over my favorite stitch of the week, crochet hack, a couple other things, and I just like I said, we just came back from a field trip to Black Sheep Yards. At least I hope it worked. Did it work? Kathleen says, I just love fingering weight, but I can work with DK and sport as well. But I love that yarn. See, I can't work with fingering. I don't have the patience to work with yarn. Unless I'm doing, like I said, like I wanted to start last week or the week before, micro crochet. Unless I'm doing that, I'm not working with anything that thin. I'm just not doing it. It just seems like torture. So, okay, let's see. What else did I want to talk about tonight? I think I am actually up to the rant. Uh, yeah, I showed you the 3-strand hack. I told you my favorite stitch. Told you guys about white thread crochet. Um, I've noticed a trend that there's a lot of larger crochet sites or crochet channels that used to kind of be pretty, how do we say, um, didn't share their opinions a whole lot, are now suddenly adopting a don't give an F attitude and are just saying what they want to say. And I gotta say, I'm here for it. Um, I was watching Bag of Days shorts are coming through my on my YouTube feed, and she's cracking me up with those. The one with the tape because the person was complaining that her dogs and her kids are always making noise in the background. And she's like, "Wait, don't leave! I'll fix that." And she gets up, she yells for her kids, and pulls out the tape. I watched that one several times just because it was worth several watches because that was just funny. You know, and the one where somebody asked, "Why are your dogs always barking in the background?" And she looks at the camera and says, "Because they're dogs." She's showing more of her attitude, her personality. T.L. Youngcraft is doing it too. It's like everybody is finally deciding that they just want to they're going to be themselves and they're going to be authentic and people can like it and people can not like it and they're fine with it. Of course, I adopted that from the beginning, so I'm just looking at them going, "Come on over, we have cookies. They're delicious." Because I started out my channel even before it was a craft channel. You know, it was going to be me. I'm WYSIWYGing it. I'm not going to make a fake persona for my channel. Just seemed like a bad idea all the way around. I can barely keep up with myself, let alone keep up with a fake me. That just no, that sounds horrible. Horrible idea, horrible thought. Ugh. So now, for the thing that has been bugging me since I read it on a post a couple of days ago. So, wait a minute. Kathleen is saying, yes, I like the real people much better. Guess you led the way. Yeah. Okay. I doubt it. I just think that people have decided that if they're going to get hate, they may as well get hate for being for their authentic selves and their authentic thoughts instead of like getting hate for what their persona is saying. And that's pretty much how I approach it. I mean, if you're going to dislike what I'm going to say, then at least let what I'm saying be what I really feel. You know, it makes no sense to do it any other way. But so I was on it was on Facebook in one of my crochet groups, and the inevitable, I made this. How much should I charge? Question came up, and it was a very lovely Afghan. Um, it wasn't Sophie's Universe, but it was something similar to it, and it was the size of I'd say a double bed, so it was a decent sized blanket. So of course somebody came up with three times the price of yarn. So of course I lost my ever loving mind when I read that because oh my god, stop doing that. I beg you. But that's not even what really set me off. Because even at three times the price of the yarn, the price of that Afghan would have been well over $200. Which, if you ask me, an Afghan of that detail, if you know what Surface Universe looks like, it's very detailed. Like I said, this wasn't a Surface Universe, but it was a German shells version of it, if that makes any sense. It was very large, very detailed, a lot of different rounds that all work together. So, like I said, even at three times the price of the yarn, it was coming out of over $200. Somebody said that they would not spend that much money on an Afghan, and the fact that they weren't willing to pay those kind of prices for crocheted items is why they started crocheting in the first place. And I was like, okay, now I don't have a problem with the fact that they're like, I can make it cheaper myself, and then they actually learned how to do the craft in order to make the thing themselves. I'm not totally sure it was actually cheaper though, because what they're not factoring in, and this leads right to pricing, is their time. So I started my craft business because there are things I wanted that I couldn't find in the market, and therefore I set out to make them myself because I couldn't find them. And in the process of learning how to do these things and making the things I wanted to make, people saw what I was making and liked it, and they started ordering things, and that's how I got started. But if I would have found what I was actually looking for, I would have just bought it. I wouldn't have gone through, and I guess in a way it's a blessing in disguise, but looking at it now, but I wouldn't have gone through the hassle of. Now I already knew how. Like, okay, let's stick with crochet. I already knew how to crochet, so me making the kind of bag I wanted crocheted wasn't that big an issue because I already had the skill. But let's take like some of the jewelry I make. Let's take chainmail for example. You know how long it took me to learn how to chainmail? You know how long it took me to learn what tools I needed, what kind of metal I needed, what size rings, the diameter. I probably have 4 years of learning wrapped up in one Byzantine bracelet. And y'all are going, what's a Byzantine bracelet? It's a weed bracelet. Okay? So 3 to 4 years of learning and hundreds of dollars in tools and materials later, I now know how to make a bracelet that I would probably charge $40 for. Unless it was a skill you already had, or you just wanted to learn the skill and you decided this was a good opportunity, how is that cheaper than buying it from someone that's already skilled in making it? I don't understand that mindset. And it almost seems a bit like I don't want to pay you to make it, so I'm going to make it myself. So here's my question. Once you learn to make it yourself, are you going to turn around and make it for somebody else? Because if you do, then guess what? You're a bit of a hypocrite. Because you wouldn't pay this maker to make it, so you learn to make it yourself, and now you're going to turn around and sell to somebody else? I don't get the logic of it. I don't understand the logic she was using. I mean, normally when you pay for things, you pay for convenience. Case in point, I have 4 sweaters going on right now. Well, one vest, 3 sweaters. So I've got the vest, I've got the cardigan. Hi, Poppy. And then I've got 2 regular raglan sweaters. Poppy, get off me. Would you chill? And I've got the 2 raglan top down sweaters. These are for me. Although my although my cardigan is being eyed by several people in this house, so I may or may not end up keeping it. We'll have to see. Once I'm done with those, the next time I want a sweater, I'm hiring somebody else to make it. Because although I like having the skill and knowing how to make sweaters, I'm not a small person. So a sweater for me is the equivalent of a larger project. And as I have mentioned, I don't like large projects. So the next sweater that I have made that I want made, I'm actually going to pay somebody to make it. Now I'm going to make sweaters for everybody else that's smaller than me because it's not as big a project. But that's a case of me knowing how to do something, but farming it out to somebody else that does it better and won't mind doing it. not wanting to pay somebody to do something. I don't know. Does anybody else? Does it annoy anybody else what I've been talking about, or is it just me? It could just be me because I am weird about stuff. But I just found that her not wanting to pay somebody else to do it and going through the hassle of learning to do it herself. And I know that she sells as well. I just find that incredibly hypocritical. Hi, Shan. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Vijay saying after they make one and see how much work is involved, they will not make another. Yeah, either that or they'll suddenly decide that, hey, I'm going to start selling those. And again, hypocrite. You wouldn't pay somebody else to make it, but now you're going to make it and sell it yourself. Yeah. Definitely think it's not just you. We all have our oh heck no points. I mean, there are a lot of crafts that I know how to do because I couldn't find exactly what I wanted, so I had to learn the craft to get what I wanted. And although having these skills and these crafts is great, quite frankly, if I could have just found what I wanted, I would have just paid for that instead of going through the hassle and the expense of buying everything you need to start to start a craft. You know, at this point, you almost have to start selling stuff just to make back what you spent in the materials to get started. Because you don't want to know how much I spent setting up to make resin things. It was ridiculous. Hi, Lydia. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Rosemary is saying they will get started making it and find out why crafters charge what they do. But that's the thing. These are actual crafters in a crochet group talking about this stuff. You have crafters. I mean, you know, I mean, people who crochet, know the value of crochet. But you're right. They might not know the value of a beaded necklace. They might not know the value of resin stained trays and stuff. But as a crafter, they should be aware of the time it takes to hone the expertise to make the item. And by saying, I'll just learn how to do it myself, it's kind of like you're just saying, I don't value what you spent years learning how to make. I'll just take my like 1 to 2 weeks worth of experience and slap something together because you know full well that you're not going to make a product with your minimum knowledge or new knowledge as good as the product that somebody who's been making those things for years is going to have. It's just practice makes heading towards perfect because I don't believe it. Practice makes perfect because nothing's perfect anyway. But I just found her comments just aggravating and insulting, and I probably just took it. I don't know. I probably took it a little too personally because who hasn't had somebody go, "Oh my God, I can get this cheaper. I can make it cheaper." Blah 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 blah. At least one person has looked at your work and told you that, and that's annoying. It's like you can make it cheaper. Prove it. Show me because you may be able to get the materials cheaper, but I bet I'm faster. You know, but people never want to factor in time, and I understand it. Three times, three times the cost of the yard. Where does your time factor into that? Your time is valuable, not just the time that you're spending making the item, but the time that you spent learning the craft to make it. Why do we just gloss over that? I don't understand. And if one more person tells me, "Oh, that'll never sell for $300," or "That'll never sell for XYZ," when I'm looking at sellers on Etsy and Coffee and Ravelry and Macari that are doing just that, don't tell me it won't sell. Just because it won't sell in your little podunk town that you live in does not mean it won't sell in the big city that's in your state. Doesn't mean it won't sell internationally. It doesn't mean it won't sell in another state. Stop saying that. And then I'll give them like examples of, oh yeah, well something like this sold for 300 on Mercari, 275 on Etsy, blah 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 blah. And they're like, well, where are you seeing that? And how do you know that they're selling? If I'm looking at a seller that's got thousands of sales, they know how to price their stuff. Okay? They know how to price it, and people are buying it. Therefore, it is safe to look at their prices and know that they are in the right price point. But people want to argue with me about that. It drives me nuts. This is all the same thread, by the way. The same that these are all the same people that were in that conversation about the Afghan that started this whole thing. That was the other thing they were saying, because they're arguing. Like I said, we were arguing about the price and how what I was saying was way too high and nobody would buy it. And I'm looking at a website with a similar Afghan from a seller who had thousands of sales, and these are her prices I'm telling them about. But okay, nobody will sell. Nobody will buy it at that. Okay, that's why she's got all these sales for that price. But what? Okay, guess we're making it up. Free says I've learned to skip over those comments. I'm not Walmart. I try to skip over them, but they just drive me nuts. The 3 times the cost of yarn makes me want to jump out of my skin, and the anything about you know I could never get that price. I'm like if you were actually looking in the right spot, and which isn't necessarily your the town you're in, the market's out there. You just have to find that market. And if you go on Etsy or Mercari or any of the other sites where you can sell your stuff, and you look at the prices, that'll give you an idea what price point to hit. Then you just have to list your stuff, and then you just have to be persistent with where you market it. Who you share it with, who you tell about it. Just be persistent. But a lot of people don't want to do that, and so they get stuck selling at the county fair an Afghan that cost them $100 to make, and they're selling it for 75. Why? No, just please stop. Kathleen saying I recently went to a reunion in Canada, and suddenly my dry spell is broken at $50 a pair for short socks. Nice. I now have 6 pairs to make before the weather turns. Congratulations. That's awesome. But you know, I'm just tired of people either not charging what they should, not wanting to pay a fair rate. I'm just kind of over all of it. I mean, how are you going to get upset because you can't get what your item is worth, but you're not willing to pay what an item's worth yourself? How can you complain about both of those things at the same time? but you couldn't get anything here. Yeah. So you got sales in Canada, but you can't get anywhere you are, which is what, Tennessee? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Sometimes your market, you have to go outside your backyard to find your market. You know, I can count. Okay, that's not true. I actually have several really nice local clients that come to me for various things, but the bulk of my work is not anywhere near me. I have to ship to people. My market is not here in West Virginia. My market is in other places, a lot of New York, a lot of California, and other states, but definitely it's not here because people here are they look at me and go, "Oh, you do beautiful work, but I can't afford that." Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. I can't do it for any less. All you did was wear them. Well, that's cool. But it's Canada. They go through a lot of socks. They need socks. So you're wearing socks. They like them. You sold them. Congratulations. That's awesome. But so that was my rant. Just I just want people to know their worth and respect the value of other people's work, and so we can stop undercutting each other, and we can all make money and be happy. Is that too much to ask? I'm starting to think it is sometimes. But I mean, I it just set me off, and I'm thinking about it now, and I'm getting mad again. So anyway, I think that's pretty much everything I want to talk about tonight. If you're new here or returning, and you're not subscribed to my channel, please, and you think you might like my content, hit the like. Oh, I can't talk tonight. Please hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so you'll know when I upload and when I go live. Um, you guys, it's been great seeing you guys for this hour. You guys could have been like doing anything else you wanted to do, but you chose to come hang out with me, and I appreciate that, and I don't take it for granted. Um, I'll be back again at 9 next Wednesday, doing I don't know what. Maybe another new stitch, maybe another new hack. Um, I kind of like looking for those, so that's probably what I'll have a couple of those. I might, cross fingers, actually have some finished objects by then. That would be cool. Um, and I don't know, I might actually have finally pulled out the other bin, so I may actually have some more whips so we could go back to playing Finish or Frog. But you know, don't hold me to that because I'm not sure if I can get to those bins or not. But thanks for being here. Wait, Kathleen is saying in an ideal world we would all make enough to buy or trade for what we need and want. Yeah, this is very true. Kelly saying I'll see you. Catherine is saying sorry, making pizza from scratch. I totally agree with you. Okay, well I'm glad that I'm not the only one that has these feelings because sometimes I think that I'm out in left field somewhere and I'm out there all by myself and I'm the only one that thinks that. Which don't get me wrong, for the most part I'm okay with. I don't have to have a whole lot of people agreeing with me. It's nice when they do. I appreciate it when people agree with me, but it's not like mandatory or required. I'm perfectly okay with being the odd person out. It's been my default setting most of my life. But anyway, I'm glad that some of y'all agree with me at least. And with that, I'm going to go and see what we're having for dinner because it smells like potato soup, actually. I think that's what she was talking about making earlier. So I'm going to go check on that. And then I'm going to, I don't know, work on some sort of project. I got some diamond painting I really need to work on. Really, really need to work on. So I might do that tonight, and then go and search for a new stitch or two to learn this weekend. But either way, glad you guys were here. Well, I'm glad to be back, Kathleen. Thanks. And have a great night. And I will see y'all on the YouTube streets. And if nothing else, I'll see you back here at 9 next week. So have a good night. Have a good week, y'all. Bye.